So, this is a Meade 228 telescope. I found it on Craigslist. I was not really looking for a telescope, I was just looking at telescope listings, and a couple of hours drive and $35 later, and this was in my possession. This is a 60 millimeter refractor. It's my first refractor. It is a 700 millimeter focal length, and it's got a focal ratio of 11.7. This is, it was part of an estate sale, and I think I got a pretty good deal on it. It needed a little bit of cleanup, and I still have probably a lot of work to do on it, but so far I'm pretty happy with it. I cleaned up the fittings here, some of the hardware, pulled the screws off. I took basically the whole thing apart, cleaned the optics on it, and tried to clean up the brass. I think I need some work on that still, because I'm really not sure exactly what I'm doing with that, and I really don't want to wreck it. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that. I know it needs some work. I hope to take the wood, although it looks pretty good. I'm not sure if you can notice on camera, there's a little bit of parts to it that a little bit of wear, but not a whole lot. So I may leave it like it is. I may decide to sand it down and refinish it. I'm not sure. The optics look pretty good. I haven't used it very much at night. Very limited use. Because of the weather we've had lately, all I've really been able to do is kind of poke it out my living room window, and I live in an old apartment, so the windows aren't that great. But I was able to see Jupiter and see its moons. There were some aberrations, obviously, but I think from just some very preliminary tests outside, I think the optics are pretty good. The finder scope on it is a 5x scope, and I'll give you a close-up on that in a minute. The main eyepieces are 0.965 inches. That's an older standard, I believe. So I've got the diagonal here, and then it comes with a Meade MA 25 millimeter. And then I can pop this off, and when I purchased this, it came with a converter, which allows me to take standard 1.25" eyepieces. So that's what I've got in this. It's a, it also came with this. It's a Meade OR 9 millimeter. So I can just swap that out, and then I'm free to put in whatever 1.25" I want. May be able to use a Barlow with it. I'll need to check and make sure that I'm not running out of room for doing that. But for the most part, everything on it is in good shape that I can see. The vertical adjustment for the azimuth is fake. It tightens into a certain point, but it does not slow this down at all. And when I took this off and looked inside, I could see that it was only drilled in part way. There's a mounting screw underneath for the scope, for this whole headpiece here. And if this were to go through, it would be basically one thumb screw digging right into the side of another one. So that's just for decorative purposes only. But it does seem to hold whatever position I put it in. It's not a problem. It seems to rotate around fine. So here you get a quick view of the eyepiece itself. And the mount there. This is a 5x optical finder. And you can see that there's a little bit of cleanup that still needs to occur with the brass. I'm still learning my way around polishing that. There still seems to be some discoloration on there. So it's really going to need quite a bit of work. But honestly, for the shape it's in and for the price I paid for it, $35, and the fact that the optics seem to be pretty good, I think it's going to be worth having putting a little bit of work into it. Pop the cover off here so you can take a quick look in and see the scope. Nothing special to see there. So that's my my quick overview of the scope. Hopefully once I get some mileage on it, I can do an updated review and let you know how the optics look on it, and what I'm able to see in comparison to my 4.5 inch reflector. I think that'll be an interesting comparison, just for raw images. Maybe I'll try to angle this thing straight up and look at the Ring Nebula with this, which I've already looked at with the 4.5 inch, and so I'll have some comparison on some DSOs. But otherwise, I think that's about it. So thank you for your time. Clear skies.